Today we are back with another video in the new patch, and it's another rune deck, but this time we're playing some Mysteria Rune. It's another notable, I guess, deck that received some buffs, or rather one buff really, in the new patch. Arcane Destruction is now down to 1 cost, so when Mysteria was the meta menace top tier unbeatable deck in like last expansion, I believe it was, then they had to nerf the deck. So when they nerfed the deck, they nerfed Arcane Instruction to 2 cost, and they made Ginger's spell cost 1. Ginger still stays at 1 for a good reason. It will be extremely broken if Ginger's spells cost 0. It wouldn't help much there. But Arcane Instruction is back to 1. Unfortunately for this deck, it is not quite back at its old power level because of the loss of Crushing Rain. And also, between this expansion and last expansion, there's like a decent amount of power creep. I think a lot of the modern decks got like a decent jump in power because I guess it's since the last expansion they decided to just up the power level of the whole thing, so it's a bit of a spike. So yeah, this deck doesn't dominate as hard as it used to in last expansion, but we'll see how it does in this expansion. So let's give it a try with some games. So we start off with game 1 here. We're going first against Rune. So Rune can be Spell Boost, can be Mysteria, can be Machina. I think Machina is probably the most common right now. For the Mulligan, I keep like early game plays, so Bell Witch is fine. The Arcane Instruction is pretty decent to keep. I also like keeping the Academic Wormist, and I keep Ginger, and I think I usually just toss the rest. I'm not sure if that's the correct way to do it, but that's how I do it. So we open with the Mysterian Party here, just draw into the deck, try to pick up the Hannah. Hannah is pretty valuable. Also want to find the Academic Wormist if we can. Unfortunately, we don't pick it up. We pick up the Veil here, so we're just gonna go ahead and play her down. Not really much else we can do with this hand anyway. Kind of want to save Greya for when we can actually evolve things. So we go ahead and just trade off into the Academic Wormist and then play the Bell Witch. The consideration for going phase there is not 0, but I think it's safer to just put this Bell Witch here on board. So I'm place the Veil as well as the Nick here, which is fine. So we pick up the Wormist here, so we're just gonna pick up the Grimworm. I feel like 90% of the time I just pick Grimworm instantly. It's a bit of like a reflex at this point, which is a problem because sometimes you actually do want to pick the White Worm, but in this case I pick the Black Worm instead. And Black Worm is correct here, I think, in my opinion at least, but sometimes you run the White Worm, so you do have to think. It's not insta-pick Black Worm every time, but most of the time it is. Here I had the option of playing Mysterian Circle to try and put out a ward to protect this board, but they can evolve anyway, so I'm not really sure I can take the board anyway, so I'm saving this Mysterian Circle and trading in the Nick for a draw instead, because that's probably more efficient than playing this circle. So there's the Greya from them. They're gonna go ahead and evolve it. Hit me in the face for 1, that's fine. We couldn't get the draw out of Nick. In case we draw like a Fate's Hand or something, then it's worth trading before the insight. But we pick up the Ginger here, which is great, because we do quite enjoy using Ginger in this deck. This deck has much more reliance on Ginger than Machina, so that's worth noting. So we'll go ahead and just play some cards, some Mysteria cards here to get Ginger count going and also reach 10 Mysteria cards so Hannah starts working, and then we can go ahead and just get rid of the Greya here. At this point we do want to start looking to keeping our spells if we can help it, to use them to our Hannah. We also have Amulet here, so we should be pretty good on damage. We have all the key damage pieces with Amulet. We have Hannah and we have Ginger. 2 Gingers in fact. 2 Gingers is not super bad either. You can always get an extra Ginger's curse out of one of them. So at this point the consideration is whether we want to save this spell for using with Hannah, but I think with Amaryllis already it's probably fine. So we go ahead and play the spell there, put the Ginger. Because the Black Worm hit the I think that was a Golem, right? Anyway, whatever it hit there, because it hit that, then we can go for a proper trade here. We kind of want to under trade so that we leave minimal bodies on board so that they will have less targets for stuff like Mysterian Missile or Greya's Ember. So we want to leave our board empty here. This works against Mysteria as well, so we leave our board empty to minimize that trade target. And we can start looking for our own lethal. We can count the damage we have here. It's quite easily lethal, I think, here. They're running N here, and honestly, N is an interesting pick. You probably choose to run it. I don't really run N personally. There is the Black Worm from them, and then the Miss Miranda here. They're at 13. We definitely have more than 13 damage, but at 13 we definitely have lethal here. So there's, we start with the Amaryllis here. We can go ahead and evolve her to get her effect going, so all our spells will do more damage. And the classic combos from back in the day. Go ahead and clone the Hannah. We can also, if we needed more damage, we could have converted Bertrand into the Mysterian Circle before playing the second Hannah, and that would have given us more damage. But since we are well within lethal, we don't really have to worry about that. So yeah, that's it for this game. Pretty standard, I guess, Mysteria games. Back with its some of its old power, I guess, although not completely there yet. So let's move on to the next game. For our next game, we have a game against Haven here, and we are going second. Haven has Lena, it has heal, it has Amulet, it has some options, so we don't quite know what it is. We can look for our usual stuff. We pick up the Ginger here, so that's great. Getting Ginger early is pretty important. Honestly, sometimes I wonder if just going hard mulligan for Ginger every game is the correct play just because of how strong it is. I'm not really sure about that. There's Bambulis from them, so this, I mean, like, every Haven deck plays that anyway, so we don't really have any information yet. Got the Worm Mist, so we're just gonna go ahead and pick up the Black Worm. Once again, the Black Worm is probably correct here, just to apply pressure on them. And there's the Sanctum of Wings, so this is Amulet that we have confirmed. Then we pick up the Bell Witch here, so we're gonna play the Bell Witch instead. If not, it would have been veiled into the Nick, but since we've got the Bell Witch, might as well play it now. Bell Witch is very hard to find time to play her in the late game, so it's good to play her early on if you can. Because Bally doesn't immediately impact the board, it's definitely a bit slow for the late game, so playing her early is great. So this turn, they haven't cleared our board, so we're able to put a lot of pressure here. We use Greya here. We have another copy of Greya in hand, so we're not too concerned anyway, so let's just go ahead and evolve this Worm Mist and hit face to apply pressure, I guess. Worth noting that because I evolved the Worm Mist here, it has the highest attack, so if they play Lena in their deck, which is not impossible to run in a Amulet Haven list, then the Lena will hit the Worm Mist, which is probably ideal for us since we get to maximize the value of the remaining followers. There is the Desert Wanderer, they're gonna evolve that. And the Angel of the Covenant here. And it's worth noting that if I evolved the Bell Witch here, it wouldn't have been able to train the Desert Wanderer, although I do still think that Worm Mist was the play I'm more comfortable with in that spot, so I don't really consider it a misplay. Depends on your perspective, I guess. Just a wing bit of prayer from them, and we go ahead and banish one of our followers, which is fine. Then this puts them at 10 Amulets destroyed already, so we do have to watch out for the Seraph next turn. Fortunately for us though, they haven't played the Holy Serpent's Blessing, so it will be targetable, which means that we have a Mysterian Tome in our hand to deal with that. So go ahead and play our Ginger here since we can. And pick out an extra copy of Black Worm just to help clear followers. Just trade off. We have a decent board here they have to deal with. So there is the Seraph. Them. They play the Meowscles as well, so this is not a Holy Serpent's Blessing, which is lucky for us. Go ahead and play go ahead and play the Seraph here. It's a very low value Seraph from them. So since they only summon 2 amulets and the 3 isn't a countdown amulet, so it doesn't get the last word. And they go ahead and evolve and trade, which is fine. We can go ahead and use Greya here. Play the Grim Black Worm. Go ahead and play the Mysterian Tome as well. We use to banish the Seraph since it's targetable. And round it off with a Hannah here. I'm gonna go ahead and of course copy the Hannah of Scorching Curse. Then go ahead and banish the Seraph here, and then just tickle them in the face We are very unlikely to die here, and since they are guaranteed to summon a ton of followers of Wing Beats of Prayer and Sanctum of Wings, we should have targets for us to play our spells into, so we can probably do a lot of damage. We have Hannah into Scorching Curse, another Ginger which can give us another Scorching Curse, which is another copy of Hannah, so we do definitely have a lot of damage here. There's the Lena from them, so they are running Lena. Gonna go ahead and do some damage to our face here, clear our board, which is fine because we do want the board space technically anyway. And they heal out a bit, which is fine, it's still well within the... I'm gonna say this is probably at least 20 damage, so it doesn't really matter how much they heal here. But yeah, we go ahead and play the Hannah here. Put on the Hannah and then we accelerate the Bertrand. It's like entirely unnecessary, but we might as well go for the overkill while we can. Pull up the Ginger here. Then we go ahead and use the Scorching Curse on the Hannah as well. Then go ahead and summon one more Hannah. And now our spells deal a ton of damage, so yeah, this is very easily lethal. So, this deck can still OTK without Amulet, but the damage is very low without Amulet, so you really have to like high roll pretty hard to get the Hannah lethals with Amulet. So yeah, not as powerful without Crushing Rain, definitely. This deck is. So that is this end of this game. Let's move on to the next game. So for our next game, we are going against Portal here, and we're going first again. We don't really want any of these, so we'll just go ahead and toss all of them, right? Actually, we don't pick up a Ginger here. We really do want to pick up Ginger, although having Arcane Instruction and Bertrand is not too bad. Is his name actually Bertrand? His name is Bertrand. So we go ahead and pick up the Miss Miranda here, and nothing else to do, so we just pass. Pick up the Ginger, which is great. Then we can go ahead and use this Bertrand to start discounting the Ginger. And there's the Evamia, so this is definitely artifacts, which is fine. Not really, but eh. We go ahead and use the Greya here just to maintain tempo. We play the Greya to clear this. This is probably a misplay actually. I probably should have used less defeats in style on Clay Golem and then traded. Because of Lazuli here, which unfortunately we don't have our spell anymore to clear the Lazuli with. We're gonna play the party here just to draw into the deck. Pick up the green Black Worm. Yeah, I think Black Worm is fine here. Go ahead and play the Miranda as well. Then we go ahead and buff the Greya here. And then we hit them in the face. There is an argument that I should have saved the Greya, but they're probably gonna clear it anyway since it's their evil turn, so I don't really think there's any point in trying to preserve the Greya there. In this case, we can keep the ward, which is probably more useful. Then we'll keep our Miss Miranda alive, hopefully, if they don't hit it here, which unfortunately, they don't hit it here. It's great for us. Go ahead and play the Bell Witch here just to pick up the spells. Go ahead and evolve the Miss Miranda, apply damage pressure to face, and pick out her Mysterian Rite as well, which will give us more damage. And then, since we don't really have much to do here, we go ahead and play the 2-cost Mysterian Circle, which is likely to clog up the hand later on. Just to summon a ward as well to try and keep our Miss Miranda safe, I guess. But they do pick up the Aegil here, so it will be able to activate Aegil's effect and start doing artifact things, I guess. There's the Radiant from them. Another Radiant artifact, pretty scary. But yeah, it's fine. They force the trade here, I guess, because they're so low and my board is still existent. And there's the Lazy Tyranny, which will finish off our Miss Miranda here. They're very close to dead, so hopefully we can kill them here. We are unfortunately very close here, but unfortunately not quite lethal. I believe this is 4 damage. I wonder if there's a way to get lethal here. I don't really think there is. We'll go ahead and open with the Ginger here. And then we'll go ahead and play the Black Worm here, which will pick up the more dragons for us to deal with. Go ahead and ping them in the face, which is fine. We'll play the Circle, play another Grim Black Worm. Then we go ahead and pick out a second copy of the Black Worm as well. Then we go ahead and play it as well just to discount these 2 in our hand. Do more damage face. And then just evolve Ginger to pick up another copy of the spell. At this point we're playing a full aggro deck because we haven't been able to draw our copy of Hannah. We don't really need to save Evo Point for Armorless at this point. She doesn't even do anything without Hannah anyway, so it's fine. So there's the Elena from them. They drew 2 artifacts. They do pick up the Key Niche here, so they're gonna use that to heal. And they pick out an Evamia as well. It's gonna give them the damage shield. And the Rhino as well, so they're kind of getting going at this point, so next turn onwards their movement should be pretty scary, but fortunately they are low enough that we do just have lethal here. This is the Ancient Witch artifact to finish off our Wormist. And post-apocalyptic girls, I guess, just to activate resonance and try to get them discounted. This is a bit of a weird lethal, but we have a lethal here, so we go ahead and use the right on their face. Get rid of damage shield. Oh, the Ginger here. Play the Grim Blackburn for 1. And we go ahead and use Curse. And use the second Curse before playing the Grim Blackworm. If you play in the wrong order, it doesn't work anymore. So the first Grim Blackworm will discount the second one, so we do have enough PPN for a lethal. So yeah, a bit of a weird, non-conventional lethal. Yeah, that's it for the games I have for you today. I would say my list right now is fairly unoptimized. There's probably better ways to be building this deck than how I'm doing it, but it's definitely not nearly as powerful as it was last expansion. Partially because Ginger is still nerfed, but also because the loss of Crushing Rain is pretty big for your damage sources. Also, board clear, getting your board clear is like more common right now than it used to be, especially with things like Wrath, which can just board clear, or like they can just board clear your entire board while healing and dealing damage and drawing cards because Wrath is still Wrath. So yeah, not as dominating as it used to be. Actually, my win rate with this deck is pretty bad. It's like less than 50%. I mean, part of it is skill issue, of course, but also I just don't think this deck is as strong as it used to be. If you want to play a combo style room deck, you're better off just playing Machina. It's just better. Yeah, that's it for this video. Try this deck if you want, I guess. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.